It looks like he really has no intention of imprisoning us. If it's just a quiz, I suppose it's fine to humor him. Back to the question. I would personally choose to build the little Charmony dove a cage. No special reason. I do think that a fledgling should have the right to fly into the sky. But if it can't even live to that point, then there's nothing to talk about to begin with.
Just casually roast asking questions? Exactly. Fine. I'll answer, I guess. If it were me, I guess I'd choose to build cage for the little tiny dove. After all, eating a bear, it's bound to have a valuable system. And that'd just be too sad. Now. Based on an action, I would probably just build it out of the cage. Even if accident I can fly. I just want to fly first. If I was to overcome it, I shouldn't get a chance to fly ever again.
I'm happy to see a choice similar to ours. If your mind is made up, we'll make the outcome of this choice. We passionately nurse it back to health, preparing the food for it every day. We even print its feathers. Later, on the day it left Penacony, we opened the cage door and let it fly back into the sky. I watched it for a long while by the window, probably about 3 or so days. In those 3 long days, the little Charmony dove tried again and again to spread its wings to fly to the sky, but fell to the ground, only to keep trying. Finally, on the 137th attempt, it succeeded. But its attempt did not go perfectly. After flying unsteadily, it fell to the ground, unable to grasp the direction of the air currents. The fall shattered its wings. It writhed helplessly in my embrace. But it was all for naught, finally succumbing to a painful demise. And in that instant, our tender care, our given love and hopes, they all became the inevitable push that sent it to its death. I deeply regret the choices we made. Next, let us head to the second decision. This time, it's the story of a dream chaser. This story happened when I was appointed as Bronze Melodia, a position exclusive to the Oak family, charged with listening to the problems and vexations of dreamscape residents, and providing them with the relevant guidance. It was during that period that I had the opportunity to hear voices from all corners of dreamscape. Some regret, the world, fortunate. He was a dream chaser, and an illegal stowaway. Just like the rest of them, he came to Penacony in search of a better life. Except that, to most people, The price he paid. I suppose you could say it was everything. He told me I sold everything I could at home. The house, the land, even his 2 children. He said he could not afford to raise them, and that at least they could eat if they lived as slaves. He had a plan in place. He would buy back his children once he had made his fortune, and enjoy Penacony's beautiful dream with them. Alas, his plan to smuggle himself was somewhat clumsy, and he was sniffed out by those pig-headed hounds. After hearing the Dream Chaser's story, I immediately appealed to the Bloodhound family to cease their pursuit. That way, at least he could live peacefully. But I was still too naive to the ways of the world. I did not anticipate that what I thought was a kind gesture would later lead to dire consequences. I'll tell you the outcome soon. For now, I'd like you all to make a choice. Will you do as I did, and try to convince the Bloodhound family to stop their pursuit, so that the Dream Chaser may live peacefully and realize his wishes? Or will you remain silent, leaving him to languish while the hounds are hot on his heels, until his inevitable judgment arrives? I look forward to everyone's decisions. Perhaps they might even all be up on this study.
It seems illegal Stoa was really caught Penacony. That kind of story, I don't think there's anything at all. She sold his kids to chase the queen. You think he tried to go back for them, but still insane you're responsible. But there's only one choice. One house sent him back home. This person deserves to be punished.
A dream story. If I happiness, I will probably ask the hounds to stop their them my hand. But what cruel repercussion this choice has been. I think somebody must have been deeply impressed by the limitations of the strong and the weakest.
Discussion. Joey has no connection to the video. His connection is to the video used to success. And hope she was asked the house to succeed.
I want to make the same decision. Out of respect, I'll show you that I completed that choice path out. First, the outcome. He attained major success. After a capture, he ran a business for a few years, very quickly making it himself, elevating status. Might not have become a tycoon like old Audie, but he was considered a character of excellent repute. Now then, did he realize the wish he set out to achieve? No. The last time I saw him was in the real world, where the hounds were going to permanently exile him, and I was the accompanying bronze melodia. The mission was simple. Listen to the criminal's repentance. He told me the reason he was in this predicament was because he conspired to usurp the head of the Alfalfa family. When I asked him about his 2 children, he instead responded with a question. What children? In the end, my heart aligned with the harmony, and the good deed I dared to undertake held no value, turning instead into a wrongdoing. It created a lamentable oppressor and countless individuals. As your choice, how then not fell the place. Next was the third decision. The story is mine. This story happened the day I was appointed the Oak family head. At that time, Mr. Gopherwood was the current Dream Master, and as per which it was placed into the myself until it would be close. It was there. The letter contained the usual pleasantries, anecdotes from her travels, nothing out of the ordinary. Just as I started wondering how this letter related to our discussion, the Dream Master began to speak.
Do you know who wrote this letter?
My sister, of course. But why would you personally visit me to hand me a letter from my sister containing mere trivialities?
To help you grasp the full scope of this issue. Do you know where Robin is at this moment?
From what the letter indicates, she must be in Caspelina 8, correct? She's touring there right now.
Correct. Has she mentioned anything about a stray bullet?
A stray bullet? What?
A war has broken out on that planet. It is because of this very reason that Robin chose this destination. To spread the word of the Harmony. And to save the lives of that planet. She personally made for the front lines. She hoped to ease the people's suffering with song, and was willing to brave mortal danger to deliver the IPC's medical supplies. Unfortunately, stray bullets show no such compassion.
Is she all right?
If the operation was successful, she should probably be recovering in the field hospital. By the eon above, the bullet struck her neck directly, yet possibly as a reward for her consistent deeds of harmony. It didn't hit any vital arteries. Once you've attended to your outstanding tasks, it'd be advisable to write her back as soon as possible.
Those damned savages! I'll pack my bags right away. My gratitude for bringing this to my attention, Mr. Gopherwood. Now you understand why she always wears such elaborate neck ornaments, don't you?
How could this happen? Miss Robin.
It's all in the past, so please don't worry. I share this in the meager hope that you will understand the Harmony's limitations and predicament. As grandiose as the strong defending the weak sounds, many times, it is nothing more than wishful thinking. Likewise, I've prepared one last question, one last choice. But rest assured, this choice will not have any grave consequences. Because this is merely a figment of imagination, a nightmare. That uses overrides during the path of light.
Can't believe that happened, Miss Robin. Strong defending a great mantra, but I had to pay such a price. I don't like to.
I often feel like I've symbols on certain nights. I see where he is. I don't know who they are, but I set up with all of them. Fighting despite some unfathomable force. Confusion and fear eluded me, and I also remember they chose never to give up. Just like fun. From the Sunday's question to you find the answer to your own experiences. But each trail blazed. Dangers and tribulation will surely follow. But would you prefer that way? Would you smart and come home for your next destination? And you have an answer in your heart.
Becomes very simple. And your husband is just another sister. The fact she's assuming her sister. No, I don't want to assume flesh and blood. I'm gonna upgrade the ambition.
I see. I am now aware of everyone's stances. Raising these questions merely serves to illustrate one point. The plight of Penacony cannot be savaged by the Harmony. The true foundation for a sweet dream paradise can only be established through the order where the strong govern the weak. I know the suffering of being tormented, the turmoil of losing your way, how sorrow and even despair set in when matters don't work out. All of this causes me unending pain, because this is not what happiness is at all. We must teach the weak how to live a happy life. And this life isn't some noble propriety that the upper crust preaches, but in definitive terms, a way of survival that belongs to everyone.
So what is your definition of living a happy life?
Good question. Human consciousness is fundamentally an illusion, a cage known as self-worth. People lured in by this illusion make mistakes, yet still ask that external influences bear the burden. When one mistake after the next permeates the masses, they become impossible to trace. Thus, the amassing of these individual cages culminate to form a prison, a place dictated only by the rule of survival of the fittest. Nature is always accompanied by predation and sacrifice. Its antithesis is known as order. That is what I want to do. Unite people's happiness under the banner of order. They won't need to make bitter choices any longer, nor face the weaknesses of humanity. They can cast aside their primal instincts to build a haven for mankind.